folks, the top 8 drivers from Pro 2 do get gifted that Pro 1 license if they opt to take it. So these events are really important for them, and we're really excited to kick it off here at Road Atlanta. Let's talk about today's event format for qualifying and what the fans and drivers can expect from you guys, the judges.
So today in qualifying, each driver gets 2 non-consecutive runs. They're going to get a score for each one, of course, and the higher score of the 2 will be what puts them into their qualifying position. Then 16 drivers are going to move on to head-to-head competition, and any ties that we have during the event will be broken initially by the lower qualifying score.
Now, this track is obviously a fan and driver favorite. It's arguably probably one of the most unique tracks, and by extension, you're going to get a very unique track map setup and points breakdown. So let's look into that.
So here you can see in all the yellow areas what will be judged by the line and angle judges. We did add one late kind of last minute addition to this track, and that is a bit of an inside clip, inside zone you could call it, on the way back down the hill. So you'd have inside clip 1 there up the hill, and then outside zone 1, outside zone 2, inside clip 2, and on the way back down the hill at that rumble strip is where you'd see that little touch and go area there. So it's forcing the drivers to stay tight inside on the way down the hill, which will control their speed exiting the horseshoe. So basically, with that change, the line and angle scores will all be 5 on each side all the way down.
One of the things I think that you guys have done that's so important in understanding how the vehicles are operating on track is putting in what we used to call the Excel decel map. Now we're just really calling it a decel map. It's a way of letting the fans know where drivers may be slowing down. So let's get into the granularity of that.
Exactly. So you look at this map right now, over there that's white on the map, where you don't see those red lines, is where drivers should be either on throttle, accelerating, or at least maintaining their pace throughout those clear sections. Where you see the red lines, that is where the lead driver is authorized or allowed to slow down. It doesn't mean that they can come to a grinding halt there. It just means that they're allowed to slow the vehicle down, either using a lot of angle by lifting off the throttle as well, grabbing the handbrake, a little foot brake, whatever they need to do. So on initiation, of course, the drivers are going to be slowing down. And then on the way up the hill coming into the keyhole, they clearly need to slow down because they're coming up at high rated speed.
And you would probably say that with the removal of the front brake light, this map becomes even more important. You guys are looking at the momentum of the vehicle. It helps you make a judgment call if there happens to be contact in that area.
Exactly. In the past, we were looking at the brake lights, and maybe it was a little misleading because a brake light can come on during left foot braking where the vehicle may not have been slowing down at all. In this case, with the way we have it now, the cars, we're just looking at the momentum, how the vehicle's moving around.
Now, the acronym that we had last year for style was IFC. We've dropped the I. We've put the I into C.
Yes.
So tell us what F and C are.
All right. So FC, fluidity and commitment, those will be looking at how fluid the car is going through the course. So fluidity really refers to how the car is rotating on its own axis. And we're going to be looking at the transitions. We're going to be looking at the initiation as well, like you said. So the drivers have to get the car to angle smoothly and without that double initiation that we sometimes see. And then every other area on the track that isn't covered by the line and angle judges will be covered by the style judge. Commitment is really the forward momentum of the vehicle. Really, really important here at this track on outside zone 1. Drivers need to stay on throttle as late as possible coming up the hill and then use the momentum of the vehicle to fill outside zone 2. It's not easy. You can overshoot or undershoot very, very easily in those 2 areas. So it's vital, vital, vital that these drivers get comfortable with the track. If they're not accustomed to where they're supposed to lift, it's going to be really tough for them to get through this track.
And we want to give the drivers every possible opportunity to go out and get a score so they can make it into tomorrow's competition. But you guys have listed out a few things that are just, I guess, what you would call absolute zeros. We used to call them zeros, now we call them incomplete. So let's break those down for qualifying.
As you see on the screen, spinning out, drifting in the opposite direction that you should be anywhere on the track, and any latchable item opening on the vehicle. So the hood, hatch, the trunk, the doors, anything like that that opens at any time. And of course, what's not on this list are major errors that would occur, like a major straightening where the driver either has a mechanical issue, the gear selector pops out, and it gets into neutral, and then they have to give up, so to speak, out on the course. So that can occur at any point in time as well.
All right, Ryan, well, thank you for breaking down the judging. Qualifying is up next. You're watching the Formula Drift Link Engine Management Pro 2 Championship, round number 1. Well, here we are with Ryan Lantane kicking off the very first ever Pro 2 live stream broadcast, the Formula Drift Link Engine Management Pro 2 Championship, round number 1, Ryan. And we are doing this for the very first time here. at Road Atlanta.
It's a challenging track for these guys to be starting their season with, but I think they've been doing pretty well in practice, so we should have a good showing today.
Raznior up first. Let's see how he does, kicking things off, coming through the chicane. We'll talk about the judging criteria a bit more, Ryan, as we get into it, but let's take a look at this run number 1. Initiating a little bit past that third standing cone, now heading into that first inside clip, transitioning up the hill, heading for the second outer zone, trying to reach deep into that section. Coming up a bit short in that second outer zone and a bit wide on that inside clip. Now back down the hill here, the judges asking the drivers to get tight to this inside clip touch and go type area. And then through the finish line is Raznior. First run of the day, trying to get as many laps as we can before the potential rain comes down. You can see the burnout box up there. We'll have Ryan doing double duty for a little bit. Jared DeEndo will be joining us shortly. He's currently stuck in traffic. All right, we're hearing that Dustin Miles is skipping his first run. Kendrick Meyer up next.
It's very, very fast coming down the hill. I went for a couple of ride-alongs earlier with some of the pro drivers, and the speeds they achieve coming down the hill, it's pretty impressive to be in the car. It's a big challenge, like I said, for these guys to start their season off with. Some of these guys haven't even driven their cars much yet. They're kind of doing a shakedown on a track like Road Atlanta. So,
all right, scores are in for Raznior, a 52 starting off.
52.
5-2 for Raznior. Moving on to our next driver. Here we go, out of the chicane. See the 3 standing cones. The judges would like to initiate by that last standing cone there. Gets it done. Now headed towards this inside clip. Off throttle, then back on. Trying to maintain that momentum. Now heading up the hill. Getting into that second, or rather that first outer zone. A little bit better job there on that second outer zone. Nice and tight on that second inside clip. Now heading back down the hill. Hitting that inside touch and go. And then throttling through the finish line. Pretty consistent run there. Nice early initiation. Getting it done. So Ryan, one of the things we talked about in the show open was some of the changes that you guys had made. Let's talk a little bit about this inside, this last inside, or the second to last inside clip touch and go area there. What exactly are you calling it, and what is the significance of that?
So we are calling it a touch and go. It's an inside touch and go. It's essentially an area where the driver needs to get the front of their car as close to as possible without going off the track. So it's like an inside clip. We didn't want to put a real clip there. We just wanted to have a kind of an area where they need to get close. This is controlling what they're going to be doing coming out of the horseshoe, out of the keyhole here. So in years past, sometimes we had guys over speeding coming out of there and really trying to get away. So we figured if we put something in that area that would require them to stay on the inside, then it would control how they exit.
So waiting on one final score to come through. And it looks like Kendrick Meyer is going to log a 76.76 for run number 1. Again, whittling drivers down from 32 to 16. And David Mesker sits on the line. He's our next driver up. There were a few drivers that had some crashes in the qualifying, or the practice leading up to qualifying. Hopefully they make it back. But it does look like we had a few guys able to make those repairs. So here we go, kicking things off. Heading down the long chute. There you go, nice early initiation between the second and last standing cone. Off throttle there, loses it, kind of loses drift there. Judges will definitely want to take a look at that. Now throttling uphill. Nice job on that second outside zone. Way off that second inside clip. Now back down the hill here. And losing drift again for a second time. Really struggling there after the initiation through that first inside clip. Big angle in the car, almost went off in the kitty litter. All right, so waiting for the score for David Mesker.
Yeah, and we're going to be going with an incomplete on that one for the multiple straights. And the first one was pretty significant.
Rodolfo Martinez. Still dry conditions out here, but it does look like there is rain on the way, so we'll try to get as many of these runs in as possible before we go to rainy judging conditions. Never fun, but can get exciting.
Yeah, everything needs to be adjusted when it rains.
So here we go, Rodolfo heading down the long straight, pretty aggressive, throws the initiation, drops that right rear tire, hits that first inside clip, back on the throttle now, making his way up into the keyhole. Pretty smooth flow, but a little bit short on that second outside zone. And then right here, slowing down, misses that inside clip by about 2 feet. Heading back down the hill here, trying to piece one together. Pretty good job on that inside touch and go, and then wrapping it back around up the hill. So Rodolfo, what was your takeaway from the new Pro 2 field this morning in the drivers' meeting? There's a lot of good questions being asked and going through the rule book and things like that. What was your impression?
Yeah, it's nice to see when they have a lot of questions, because it seems, it makes you feel like you're actually doing something that they're interested in. Sometimes we have drivers' meetings where the drivers just kind of stare at you, but in this one, they had a lot of questions, some insight, and they seem like they're really excited for the season. So it was nice to see. And we have a score coming up.
69 for Rodolfo Martinez. Good start for him, coming in at number 2 so far. Still a few drivers to go, but starting off with a solid 69.
Everybody in the drifting community is so close and friendly that it feels really good everywhere you go.
All right, here we go. Troy Manners, our next driver up, heading down the long straight. Real sweeping initiation. Kicks that e-brake on, back on throttle here through that first inside clip. Now off the gas, back on, hitting this first outside zone. Nice fluid motion here, trying to get as wide as he can to that second outside zone. Much better job on that inside clip. And now down the hill here, throttle all the way through, hitting that inside touch and go. Back around the final rotation through the finish line there.
Here you go.
82 for Troy Manners. 8-2. Nice job for him. Puts himself into that first position.
Yeah, you can see the style score is pretty high, 35 out of 40 points. So, as I was saying earlier, very settled looking run. So we're looking for the initiation to be to have speed coming into the initiation. They need to be on throttle and committed on throttle all the way down the hill. So their speed's going to be pretty high. When they get the car at angle, they want to let the car carry down to just before around the inside clip 1 area, which is where you'll typically see everybody get back on throttle and then power up the hill. It's one of those things, you need to carry enough momentum to get yourself up the hill, but you don't want to get on throttle too late.
All right, a very popular driver here in the Pro 2 Championship, Ryan Littoral. Snappy initiation there, back on the throttle. Now making his way up the course. Hitting that, straightens out for a second there. Feeling a few drops of water come down on the track as Ryan Littoral works his way through that second inside clip. Now coming back down the hill on the throttle, very loud vehicle hitting that final inside touch and go and that last inside clip. So an aggressive run right there from Ryan Littoral overall.
Here's a score.
So Ryan Littoral clocking in at an 82. Yeah, and our next driver up, Jonathan Hurst. So with Littoral moving out front and Manners tied right now at 82. Jonathan Hurst is our next driver up. And let's see what he can do here in run number 1. Through the chicane, headed down the long straight. Initiating just past that first standing cone. Big e-brake pull, now back on throttle here. Moving his way up the course, trying to hit this first outside zone. Gets caught up a little bit on the inside, forces the line very shallow here. And does go opposite drift and loses angle for quite a bit there. Definitely want to go back and take a look at that. A sizable mistake coming into the keyhole. Now wrapping through this final inside clip is Jonathan Hurst, and he will finish things off there. All right, as Ryan Lantane steps away from the commentary booth, let's welcome in Jared Dienda. How are you?
I'm good, man. I got to tell you what, Atlanta traffic is something serious. Landed at 3:15. I just got here. That's 3 hours of sitting in traffic. That was unbelievable. But happy to be here. Happy to see Pro 2 officially for the first time live stream. I know I was telling some people, I was at LS Fest last weekend, and I said that we're going to be streaming Pro 2 qualifying. A lot of the drivers are really excited just to see the caliber of driving that has progressed here. So, again, man, how's it going?
Well, I'm getting caught up. It's been kind of fun playing your role. You take a little bit different of a cadence in your approach. And
right.
Jonathan Hurst has 0, but we've got a few guys in the 80s. We got Ryan Littoral and one other driver that are tied at 82. We've seen a couple incompletes. We're really just kind of anticipating this potential weather that's been coming through, but we've seen some good driving so far, and hoping to get as many runs as we can before we get into rainy conditions, which we hope we don't have to deal with, but it looks almost inevitable at this point.
Atlanta, man, I didn't pack a rain jacket. I packed a sweatshirt, but I'm like, no, it's going to be blazing hot. It's going to be insane. But you know what? I'm stoked right now. Troy Manners, Squirt, aka as he's known, 82. That's awesome to see him. All right, so as looks like we got 6 driver scores here, a little track maintenance, but yeah, this is Atlanta weather, man. It was driving up here, it was, I don't know, about 85 degrees, and then as we pulled into Brazelton, and just so much more foliage, and it's much greener because we're, again, as the crow flies, about an hour, but given traffic a lot longer, but the temperature dropped all the way down to, I mean, it's currently like 70, low 70s right now.
Yeah, it's been it was warm all day for the most part. It's getting cool now, as you said, and probably changed the track conditions a little bit. It's been a really fun day, though, for the most part. We've seen some really good practice, some pro guys, a couple of big crashes during pro practice. So we'll really hope for the best in terms of repairs for tomorrow. And, you know, the great thing is that this is the first time ever that we're streaming Pro 2 qualifying, so very excited for that and the participation with Link Engine Management and those guys stepping up to help us do that. And overall, I think it's a great way to kick off the first round for these guys. Celebrating
15 years, too, man. Back here, man, just thinking 15 years ago, would you think we would have traveled the world and seen the progression of the vehicles?
It surprises me every day.
Every day I wake up,
every day,
man, the progression of drifting.
I'm still surprised.
Patrick Held here in this S13 coming into view. Obviously, all of it's in view. Nice job transition. You see a quick little wavering there into that quick little touch and go into that outer zone. Can he massage it? No, he gets a shallower line here. Line up those next tires. You can really hear him working the throttle and the clutch pedal. You see the attitude of the car really being adjusted. Not the smoothest line. He does keep it sideways all the way through. Patrick makes his way back up the hill. Now he kind of stands on throttle. But so Patrick Hild will now put run 1 in the books and see where his score comes in overall. And Patrick Held there with a 59. That's a 59 for his first run. Puts him into the 5th position spot. So tomorrow, an action-packed day. We start early, we end late, man. It's going to be a long one. Tomorrow is the longest day of the year as far as the events are concerned. So we're going to be here all day. We're going to be streaming 2 parts of competition. We've got the Pro 2 Top 16, and we've also got Pro 1 qualifying. So a very long day, and I think the final car will probably touch the track sometime around 11 o'clock tomorrow night. Yeah. So it's going to be a late one. It will be a late one, but it's going to be exciting too, just leading to, you know, already round 3. It's unbelievable that we're already here. So Sebastian Gauthier initiating, bright, high-vis orange. I don't think the camera does any justice. Takes out that front clip. You can hear him just banging away. Nice job. They're really standing on it. Good attitude. Woo, firing off. Really loose setup here. Out of the horseshoe, past that front touch and go as you just spoke about, Ryan, and across the finish line. And we'll see where Sebastian slots in. Yeah, Troy Manners, Squirt, coming to us from Pittsburgh. That's a 78. A 78 for Sebastian Gauthier puts him into number 3 spot. Moving on down the line. I know we have some Ford power plants in Pro 2, but as our next driver here, a lot of these newcomers into my realm and in my spectrum, but as we have Fakru coming in, and that will be a incomplete run. All right, so that unfortunately will be an incomplete run. They're already on initiation. He will have another opportunity to have his way with the course. All right, as we continue here again, Link Engine Management Pro 2 Championship. This is the first round of 4. Jeff Donati, excuse me. Through the chicane, no problem. Here we go. Initiates right at that last cone. That front flip. Standing on it. Very fluid. Minimal corrections from the front wheels. See him locking it up. Almost a bit timid. You could really overshoot that. Just wants to ensure that he does not. Hear him kind of just pedaling it, but very fluid. Very loud car, to be quite honest, but liked how fluid he was through the course. Rain starts to come down pretty aggressively here, and scores are in. And Donati likes to party with an 83. Boom, there you go, an 83. Our new leader, Jeff Donati, with an 83. You can see where he left some points there on the board, 24, 24, 35. And Donati has our #1 position, but still plenty of drivers. And interestingly enough, Ryan, we're seeing a lot of rain come down here on the track.
Yeah, and the judges will pretty much immediately go into grading on a curve once the rain starts to affect the conditions. And drivers have to be very important here, and you can already see it playing a role on that initiation. It gets really loose here. There's a lot of rubber down on the track. Garrett Denton managing pretty well here, but you can see on that initiation it certainly had an impact. Oh, and he shuts it down up here. Whoa.
Went back to the future. It happens a lot. 88 miles per hour. That's what happens, bro. So all joking aside, Garrett Denton had a major correction there. As you said, judging there on a curve.
And as we watch this initiation, see how he scoots off to the side almost kind of like unnaturally. Gets into the dirt there. Right here, you'll see, looks like he's going to drop, and see it keeps burning, right? And there it is.
Oosh.
Yeah, so unfortunately it will be an incomplete for him, and we'll move on. He'll have one more run to go.
This looks like it could be Kelsey Rawlings. No, Adam Napick. Sorry, I apologize. Just saw the pink, but the headlights, as you can see, just lighting it up.
So we are hearing, Jared, that it is going to be officially wet conditions. Now, besides judging on the scale, what that will also mean is that the drivers will be allowed a sighting lap. So if you are at home watching, go ahead and put something in the microwave. And
okay, so now the sighting lap has been completed. And here's our first qualifying lap. Throws it in. Nice job there by Adam. And getting his bearings on that sighting lap. You can see minimal smoke coming off the back just due to the wet conditions. As Adam, you can see him in the cockpit, just working the wheel, a bit methodical here, but now it's a good opportunity to showcase. And back across that first, and is now the last front clipping point. All right, so our next driver, Kelsey Rawlings. All right, so again, Kelsey getting a feel for the course, given the little damp conditions. And there's the score for Adam Napick, a 76. A 76 for Adam on our previous run. That's a 76 for Adam. I know there's an event next weekend, Virginia, VIR Hyperfest. They're giving out 4 Pro 2 licenses just next weekend. All right, as Kelsey now warming up the tires. The rain has stopped falling, but seems that this ideally and hopefully will be maybe the last wet run, because we could go back to a dry condition and no more sighting laps. But again, crawling through here in Pro 2. All right, here we go. Kelsey, this is her first qualifying run, again coming all the way from Florida. Kelsey Rawlings, thank you for your patience. Mother Nature decided to dampen the spirits a little bit, but not at all. Here we go. Kelsey, what do you got? Pass that first front clip. Good execution there. Now you can see, like I said, drier conditions are among us. Gets in that rumble strip. See, thrashing that back bumper, doesn't. Slows it down quite a bit. Now hammers back down. Hear that thing brapping out there towards the end. All right, our next driver, siding lap here. Who do we have? All right, this is a couple of the guys. Yeah, this is Crick. That's what I thought. I know they rounded out their team quite a bit, but Crick Felipe from Northern California. The team burned the most. You got Crick as well as Joe Tardiff. There's Kelsey Rawlings scoring 80. Nice round number there, 8 and 0. Get it? Round numbers. Crick warming up his tires there in the back, and it looks like he's ready for war. So Donati, our leader, and it says Literal. At one point it said Manners was in first, but it says Literal now Manners. But again, it's going to come down to second run. Here we go. Crick, what do you got? Crick throws it in, dances in the dirt real quick, goes out that first clip, takes it out. Team burned the most, burning some clips right now. Crick, could see him trying to get all the way to the outside zone. Well done, but a wide swing, didn't send himself up there. A real wide turn around that second front clip in the horseshoe. Now past that touch and go area, and then since he hit that first front clip, the final one is gone. All right, so Crick Felipe will get a score on the board as we have our next driver doing his sight pass, Hooman Rahimi. And there is Crick's score, a 74 for Crick. All right, so Hooman Rahimi, he's on his siding lap, but right now, don't know if this is agenda here or unfortunate turn of events for him. Came down the hill and he locked him up going to that first front clip. All right, so Hooman Rahimi struggling to get up the hill here and wondering what's going on. All right, Hooman, looks like Hooman found the gas pedal there. So Hooman Rahimi struggling through his siding lap. We'll see how things progress here when it comes to actually qualifying. Quite a few drivers here, talking about 30-plus drivers, give or take a few. I know some had some incidents with the wall or having issues with their vehicle, so quite a few broken hearts here going into tomorrow's game day for Pro 2. And then tomorrow's qualifying for Pro, and then the final game day here at round 3 of the Formula J Pro Championship will be on Saturday. Here we go. Hooman Rahimi throws it in for his first qualifying run. Hooman, quite a contrast from his siding lap, and no. Just as that happens, that's Hooman shutting it down. So Gremlin rears its ugly head once again in the siding lap, and now in his qualifying run, his hand goes out the window.
Yeah, definitely exhibiting some frustration there is Hooman. It looked like pretty suspicious activity through his siding lap, and he did make it back to the line, finished about a quarter of the run, and then had to shut it down.
All right, so this is got it. All right, so George K there just turning around to warm up his tires. George K, it's a lot easier than saying his last name, all joking aside. George Kirakopoulos from Las Vegas, Nevada. And George K, just the weekend after Formula Drift Round 1, we had our Motegi Racing Super Drift Challenge, and George K went really hard into the wall, so I'm happy to see his car back together, back out here on track, ready to tear it up. George Kirakopoulos for his Pro 2 first qualifying run of the season alongside many other really talented drivers. Some fresh faces, some drivers I've never even seen drive before outside of videos. But here we go. George K. His 370Z. And George K comes up short, and that will be an incomplete run. So George K with an incomplete run. He'll finish out the rest of the course, but it is null and void, and he loops it. Riley Sexsmith in this BRZ. I've seen him drive numerous years before up in Canada, and now here he is, Pro 2. It's great to see him mix it up. Looks like getting the track ready. Somebody on course right now just fixing it, and we will be good to go momentarily for Riley Sexsmith. Again, dry conditions, no siding lap, so about to send it for his first qualifying run. All right, here we go for Riley Sexsmith's first qualifying run. Coming in nasty. Here we go. NV Auto gets on the rumble strips, doesn't get into the dirt. Woo! Zeroes in on that first front clip. Obvious dry conditions. Sexsmith having his way with the course. Well done. Flowy, but does not get all the way out to the outside zone. Tightens up to that front clip, out of the keyhole. And then past that quick touch and go, the front touch and go instituted for the first time ever. Sexsmith, really quick work. Is that our new leader, Ryan? And yes, with a 92, Riley Sexsmith jumps to the top, throws it down. Andy Haitley back at it again with that LS. Here we go. E30. What do you got, Haitley? Andy, Carlos Haitley. Past that first front clip. The orange cars, huh? The orange cars really harness the power. Yeah, well done there. Blowing some flames. Oh, scrubbed some speed there. Almost sounded like it was going to fall off, but he stays on it. Past the touch and go and the front clip. Maintaining good angle, minimal correction. Boom, a 90 from Andy Haitley. A 90 from Andy Haitley puts him into number 2 position. Now, feeling a little bit of spritz here. Ryan, you're not spitting or anything, are you? Okay. A little bit of spitting here. Lontaine, you spitting right now? Did I just catch you spit into the wind and just came back? All right, here we go. And this is the dozer, Dylan Hughes. Past that first front clip, Dylan Hughes to that outside zone into the second outer zone. You can hear him lifting a little bit to get it out to that outside zone, tight to that front clip, exiting the horseshoe, ripping past the touch and go and the final front clip. Dylan Hughes, a newcomer to Pro 2 action. Scores are in for the dozer, Dylan Hughes, an 87. So a strong, respectable score. Not the leader. Puts him into the number 3 position, but a strong, respectable score. That should definitely hold up, given this very talented group of Pro 2 drivers. Trenton Beecham coming all the way from Southern California. We see him a lot at the Motegi Racing Super Drift Challenge, which is the invitational event at the at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. And Trenton Beecham comes down. He's got his signature camouflage fenders into that first front clip, wrapping away, powers up into that first outer zone. Well done by Beecham. You can hear him lifting a little bit just to get it to slide out. Well done by Beecham. Out of the horseshoe, really putting the car in the right places. Like I said, just a talented field of drivers here in Pro 2. Trenton Beecham in the 82, an 82 for Beecham. Okay, moving right along here. Alec Robbins, we saw him campaign a vehicle with CoroWorks last year, and he's still working with CoroWorks. A Drift Indy champion, or MDU, believe me. or not believe me, but if I believe. Oh, and unfortunately for Alec Robbins, he is calling a he's forced to call a competition timeout. Basically our technical director up there says you need to get that worked out. So there's a leak. All right, here we go. Brandon Schmidt. There's our leaderboard. The Link Engine Management Pro 2 Championship. Here we go. Brandon Schmidt. Show me what you got. Schmidt, whoa, dancing, flirting with the course edge. Winding it up. You see him shimmying his way up there. Hippie, hippie shake. Into the outer zone. Ryan, a bit wonky here, not only with just the attitude of the vehicle, but you can hear winding out that Mast engine. The Mast Motorsports engine, you can hear him just whacking away on it, but you saw him coming up the hill. Just our 73, a 73. It's not a bad score, but again, you got to get in that top 16. Yeah, look at that, Ryan pointing out, circling with his finger. You can't see that, but he was circling the 12 and the 15 there on style. So a lot of points left there on the board for Brandon Schmidt. Ryan, who do we have next? What driver is this? I know Ryan always. No offense to Brody, he's a talented driver, but his name is definitely fun to say.
It is. It's
maybe
my favorite name.
Brody Goebel. Brody Goebel out here. Yeah, ripping through the gears. Nice job by Goebel. He kind of had that same approach as Brandon Schmidt. Great look. Oh, great looking car. And then right before he hit that clip. But Goebel going for the gusto. Shred it, bro. As Goebel brings it around. And past that final front clip, Brody Goebel. And it's a 67. So, yeah, like you said, it looks a lot more violent than it actually was. But as more cars go past that first front clip, they're digging in. So Brody, just another shovel, digging out that hole right there past the gator strip on that first turn. So it's going to cause more trauma to these vehicles. All right, Ola Jaeger, as this vehicle has seen, it kind of has a historic past. This vehicle first saw U.S. soil at the Red Bull Drifting World Championships years ago with the Formula Drift champion Frederick Osbo, Norwegian Hammer, behind the wheel. The car has been deemed Chucky, and I'm assuming that's after the Child's Play doll, right? I mean, just has a lot of scars, but comes back from the dead, and yeah, little here we go. So Japan Auto, Toyota Supra, Ola Jaeger powers up into that first outer zone. Nice job from him. About where everybody else is putting. I want to see these guys just push for that second outer zone. They really got to hang it out there, but so far so good for Ola Jaeger. The Nexen tire smoke up in the air. Again, two options of tires in Pro 2, and Ola Jaeger gained some applause from some fans. All right, Ola Jaeger is a 91, puts him into 2, so puts him in position number 2. Ola Jaeger. Ryan Lantain corrected me there on the name pronunciation. I appreciate it there, buddy. Story of the traveling drift pants. Ryan Lantain, the story of Ryan Lantain. Here we go, Josh Robinson. Here's in his Holden Ute. As Robinson into that first front clip. A bit far off it, but now he's got a lot of horsepower. Again, the supercharger working its way. Nexen tires in that second outer zone. There we go. Now he was seems to be off those front clips. He knows how to put the back end of the vehicle into those outer zones. See a lot of hop from the vehicle as Robinson comes back up the hill. All right, scores are in for Robinson, and a 66, so very low. And yeah, there's that style, so 15 and 10. Travis Reeder. And you can see the Link ECU qualifying leaderboard. Sexsmith still up top of that 92. Let's see what you got, Reeder. Nice job by Travis, quick initiation. Consistent throttle control all the way up the hill. Quick lift to get it out, drag it out. Now transitions out of the horseshoe, past the front clip. And there you go. So not past the front clip, but the front touch and go into that final front clip. Scores ran for Reeder. 92 is the score to beat. He gets a 91. A good score for Travis Reeder. Here's Kevin Lawrence. He's doing double duty, Pro 2 and Pro. As Kevin Lawrence in Juku Racing, he is your defending Pro 2 champion. Big Manji entry here from his R30. Oh, and shuts it down. So that will be an incomplete run, I believe. Yep. And just to solidify it even more. All right, here we go. Raz in his Mitsubishi Evo. I wasn't here for his first run, correct? Okay, so Raz in his Evo. Again, a newcomer to Pro 2 competition. Traditionally an all-wheel drive car, obviously, if you know the car world. Raz. You can hear him kind of off and on throughout the horseshoe. Keeps it sideways gracefully at some points. And Raz. All right, scores are in for Raz. And it's a 53. So it does better by 1, but unfortunately that is not going to be enough for Raz to see top 16 competition here in this Link Management Pro 2 Championship. So Raz on his debut does not make top 16, but looking forward to see him at future Pro 2 rounds. Dustin Miles. All right, here we go. Dustin Miles. You can see him really kind of laying off the throttle. Miles slamming it into that first outer zone. Nice job. Very J-looking car here out of the horseshoe. Past that touch and go. Ooh.
You see there, they are dropping the incomplete for Dustin Miles, unfortunately. Beautiful looking vehicle, but not able to get a score out of that run.
Fortunately for Dustin Miles, that correction right before the straightening out of the finish line, Dustin Miles does get double incomplete runs, so we will not see him in competition. All right, here we go. Kendrick Meyer. Great looking E36 BMW here. Really fluid up the hill. Oh, just I say that. Kind of gets out of drift just briefly, but reinitiates and then gets into the dust. Little dust splash there into some of our media. Kendrick Meyer, just a nice clean exhaust note. Just as far as there were some mistakes. All right, and the scores are in. An 83, so he definitely betters it. An 83 from Kendrick Meyer puts him into number 6 position. David Mesker.
Pressure time for him, Jared. This is one of the incompletes that I think right before you came.
Yep. So Kendrick Mesker, and he's driving Forrest Wang's, essentially his backup car. I saw on Instagram he is excited about David Mesker driving it. Mesker looks confident right now. You can see him just talking about that floating, the Vectasia S14. Could have been tied to that front clip. Is this enough here for Mesker? And Mesker past the finish line. Boom, 86. So definitely, like I said, everybody's jumping up here. They're getting maybe on their first run, getting their bearings, finding out what's going on, get the jitters out, and then, yeah, that's how it goes. So congratulations to him at 86. Still not over yet, as Rodolfo Martinez. Yeah, Felipe there with a 74 and a 73. Schmidt has a 73. So Martinez is 69. Rodolfo Martinez into that first front clip. Ooh, crawling, and is that definitely came to almost a halt, but not all the way. And yeah, I'm seeing unfortunately for Rodolfo, having some major issues here. I mean, Ryan, right out of the gate in that first front clip, he almost came to a halt. He kept it sideways. It is an incomplete run, so it's a 69 actually. So a 69 doesn't even get him in the top 16. Like we said, Craig Felipe sitting on that bubble. Troy Manners, he had an 82 on his first run, and he is currently in. No, he was in top 5, and now he is not with an 82. So it shows you there he is sitting in 9th. He's going to try to better it here. Coming to us from Pittsburgh. iConcepts, and they're working on the vehicle as well. Here we go. What do you got? Squirt, as he's known. Neo Motorsports. S14.5. Seen him drive at some of the Club Loose events over the years and some different events. Seen him at Formage of Canada, and here we go. Troy Manners exits out of the horseshoe past that front touch and go. Transitions into that final front clip. So Manners trying to better an 82. 78, so it is not better than his first score, so he still sits in the 9th position. Will that hold? He's got to count his prayers right now. Next up, Ryan Littoral. He has an 82. He was tied for first at one point, but the plot thickens. Here we go. This Coro Works Nissan Z comes in ablazing. Into that first front clip. Nice job by Ryan Littoral. As into that second outer zone, standing on it. Bit of hiccupy there through the horseshoe. Now stands on it. You could, I mean, definitely a loud car. You can barely hear yourself think. Ryan Littoral in that Coro Works 350Z.
As all the drivers in the top 16 will be slotted according to how they qualify. 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15, and so on. So positioning is very important.
All right, scores are in for Ryan Littoral, and an 87. He does better just a little bit more, but maybe could breathe a little sigh of relief there, just solidifying, jumping him up a little more. But again, I use that word loosely. So our next driver up the top of the hill. A little bit of sprinkling here on track, but I don't think it's enough. Raindrop, drop top. All right, here we go. Jonathan Hurst. Jonathan Hurst, whoa, flirts with the edge of the track. Hurst coming into that first outer zone. Big angle there from Hurst. Him kind of whacking away at the clutch. And Hurst really hammering down. You can see evidence in the sky, but Hurst, where does that land at? It's such an intimidating, run up. You're running up, you're seeing the kitty litter in front of you, a 70, so that will not be enough for Hurst. But you're coming down that hill, ripping, flying, initiate, and all you see is that kitty litter. And just, I encourage you to check out, the driver's POV and see what they see, because it is pretty sketchy. And for a lot of these guys, this is the first time they're on this course. Patrick Held, his first score of 59. He needs to better that, and like you said, that cutoff about 69, 73, excuse me. Craig Felipe on that bubble. Whoa, buddy. And Patrick Held seems to figure it out here in the latter portion of the track. Out of the horseshoe goes Held. Ryan, just some wide swings here from Held, and again, on initiation, you saw him kind of come in and shimmy his way into that front clip. It's an incomplete. Let's make it official. So unfortunately for Patrick Held, his 59 on his first run is not enough. He sits in 21st, which definitely keeps him outside of that top 16 for tomorrow's main competition. All right, Gauthier going to pull up to the start line for his second run. Like I said, a 78 on his first run. And here we go. Gauthier on his second run. What's he going to put down? He's got that 78 on his first run, comes into that first front clip. You can see that smoke trail. Some disruption in that line, firing off. You can see him massage his way into that second outer zone. Sounds like a transformer out there. All the anti-lag and firing off, and wow, a lot of noises coming from the car. So Sebastian got the 79, so he betters it just by 1 point, but that 1 point could be the make or break there. Just an update, Fakru was to be the next driver, but he is a DNF or DNS for him. So right now, Jeff Donati ripping into this first front clip. Oh, but then shuts it down. So all for naught. But truth be told, Donati does have an 83. Donati has an 83 on his first run. So an 83 puts him into top 10. And that will be an incomplete run for Donati. But still holds, again, a top 10 position. He is sitting in 9th. Garrett Denton on his second run. He has an incomplete run on his first. This is do or die for Denton. All right, looks like past that front clip, looks like he's figured it out. To that second outer zone, gets not all the way out there, keeps it sideways out of the horseshoe as Denton. Ooh, buddy. Oh. All right, so we'll take a quick break. When we come back, more Formula Drift Pro 2 action. This is the Link ECU Pro 2 Championship Round 1 of 4. Thanks for joining us, Ryan Sage, Jared Deanna. When we come back, more action from here at Road Atlanta. All right, welcome back as we have the clear track. We have Adam Napick here, a 76 on his first run. And if you can recall, Adam actually saw wet conditions on his first run. So now he has way better conditions. There is our leaderboard. We are live here at FD Atlanta. Again, round 1 of the Link ECU Pro 2 Championship. Sexsmith, our #1 qualifier as it stands. Ula Yeager sitting in second. Reeder, Haley, and Literal. Here we go. Let's see what Adam's got. He has a 76 on his first run. Throws it into the first front clip. Very fluid. Whoa, and I say that, and he comes out of drift, and that's going to be an incomplete run. So he has bigger fish to fry here. A 76 that does currently have him in the top 16.
Yeah, Jared, as you mentioned, he is almost literally on the bubble. So he's on position 14. We've seen that number creep up. It was low 70s. Now it's mid 70s.
All right, so Kelsey Rollins pulls to the start line. She has an 80 on her first run. That's a comfortable spot. You can see she sits in 12th currently. All right, here goes Kelsey on her second run. Her first run is a bit choppy. She kept it tight to all the line, you know, what the judges are looking for there, but seems a little bit disruptive. Now she seems a lot more fluid here in the second run. Remember, she got into the gator strip, but now, whoa, works it all the way out to that second outer zone. Kelsey out of the horseshoe. Nice job by her. The sun shows up here for Kelsey's run. Does that better than 80, Ryan? I got to say, she got all the way to the outside zone, almost too far. All right, so Kelsey Rollins awaits her second score. And does she better it? Coming all the way from Florida. 84, yes, she does. So Kelsey Rollins with an 84 on her second run. She does better an 80 to an 84. Next up Crick Philippi. Crick is currently 15th with a 74. He wants to throw down and put up a stronger score just to solidify being in the top 16. Gets into that dust once again, gets into the dirt, takes out that front clip. Very aggressive driving, using all the course here from Crick. A shallower line here in the horseshoe. Throws him off line to tighten up to that front clip, but now, see, I think this is where Crick's going to shine. And past that finish line. So, scores are in here for Crick, and it's a 70 on his second run. So, he's going to have to sit and wait and find out if a 74 will be enough for him to see head-to-head competition. So Hooman Rahimi, he had a 0 on his first run. He really had some issues, and he had wet conditions on his first run. They started to dry out when he was out there, but seems that I'm seeing the headlights turn off and then on. I wonder what's going on with Rahimi's vehicle, and shuts it down once again. Hooman has some major issues here, unfortunately, with his vehicle. So that will be double incompletes for Rahimi. And Hooman will exit out, and that will be the end of his weekend. So Rahimi This is another driver who had an incomplete run, George Kirakopoulos. Yeah, Browson saying 70, but I feel like it's a lot cooler than that, don't you? Here we go, George K. on his second run. He needs to get a score on the board, and it needs to be better, and that will not do. George K. finds himself in the kitty litter. 73 is the current driver of Schmidt. All right, so as we get George K. out of the kitty litter, unfortunately for him, that is 2 incomplete runs. We will not be seeing him in top 16 competition. When we come back, more of round 1, the Link ECU Pro 2 Championship here at Road Atlanta. All right, there goes George K. Exit stage left for George K. And insult to injury, unfortunately, we will not be seeing him in top 16. Riley Sexsmith, 92. You know what? Is he going to try to better it? Get more practice time? He's going to try to go for that 100-point run. What do you got, Sexsmith? Riley had a phenomenal first run. Throws it in, a little hesitation there. Whoa, buddy. Yeah, that's already out of the gate. You see some corrections and some wavering. Trying to go for the gusto. Ended up biting him. But Sexsmith really sounds healthy. The car sounds good. Looks very nimble. Well done there by Sexsmith, but I don't think that's going to outdo a 92. And yeah, with that, Sexsmith from hero to zero here, but 92 will definitely get him into top 16 action tomorrow. So a 92 on his first run, but unfortunately incomplete on his second. Next up, Andy Haley, another driver, currently sits on a 90 on his first run in the number 4 qualifying position. Andy Haley on his second run. All right, just getting into top 10 drivers here. And here we go. Andy Haley. Again, a 90 on his first run. A massive initiation from him. Yeah, just at that point, just too much coming to a halt there for Andy, unfortunately.
Well, he was going for it there,
yeah,
another driver. And, you know, I love seeing that. It helps push along the progression of the sport. Guys pushing each other, going for those big initiations, going for that backward entry.
90 to 0, a 90 and a 0 on a second run. Andy Haley currently in number 4 position. All right, next up, Dylan Hughes, the Dozer, his second run. And you can see our top 5. So Dylan Hughes definitely in the top 16 now, having an 87 and a 73 as the top 16 scores. That's the cutoff. Here we go. Dylan Hughes throws it in, dances with the gator strips, past that front clip. Let's see what we got. DU into that first outer zone, into the second. Very fluid. You see a quick yank of the e-brake. Just barely smooches that front clip. Good exhaust note, fluidity through the course, Ryan.
Nice overall performance by Dylan Hughes. Let's see where that slots him in. He's got that 87 on run number 1, so looking to improve on that.
Ryan, this could be better. Boom. All right, so Dylan Hughes, his score coming in. He had an 87 on his first run. Seen him being tabulated. 94, number 1 qualifier, Dylan Hughes. Dylan Hughes, our now number 1 qualifier betters. Riley Sexsmith with that 92 and has a 94 and our number 1 qualifier. All right, Trenton Beecham backing it up here. Looks like Beecham heads back to the pits. See if he's calling a competition timeout or what's going on here. And Beecham. All right, Beecham just looked, I guess Tech looked at his vehicle. He is good to go. And Trenton Beecham had an 82 on his first run. And here we go. Trenton Beecham on his second run. Can he better an 82? Lights are on, both on the cars and here at the venue. Got a lot of speed. That was a really crawling to that first front clip, and now turns on the smoke machine. Man, that will be a correction. That's going to be an incomplete run for Beecham unofficially. And that's just going to really solidify it, unfortunately, for Beecham. But he does have an 82 on his first run. All right, so again, we are now getting into the wee hours here. Local time 8:30. We're going to have the drivers meeting after this. And talking about tomorrow, gates open tomorrow. $11, again 11 o'clock. And here we go. This is Alec Robbins. He had a incomplete on his first run and now throws it in. Whoa, buddy. Overcooks it and sprays a lot of gravel on track, and that will be a massive cleanup there. So Alec Robbins on his second and only run. He had his first run was an incomplete. You can see the beautiful sunset here at Road Atlanta. We'll get the track clean, and we'll be right back with more drifting action here at Road Atlanta. Brandon Schmidt now on the start line. Welcome back to Road Atlanta. We are live. This is round 1 of the Link ECU Pro 2 Championship. Okay, so yeah, Schmidt is on the bubble. There's a 73 for Brandon Schmidt. I'm assuming he wants to better it. Whoa, really wrapping it out there. If you can recall his first run, this is looking a lot more fluid as he explodes and even throws some sparks there. Throws him out of, just a little out of shape. Gets into that gator strip. All right, so Schmidt brings it back up the hill. Look at Larry getting these sweet sunset shots down here right in front of us. Larry. 64 for his second run. That's a 73 on his first. So he will have to say a prayer here to see if some of these drivers with incompletes do not get scores. So including Kevin Lawrence, our defending Pro 2 champion. And Brody Goebel, he has a 67, so he is outside of the top 16 looking in. So, like I said, a lot of these drivers just upping the ante. Brody Goebel exploded his front bumper on that first front clip. I think if he comes out unscathed on that first front clip, he might have a shot at bettering that 67, but that really threw him off his game. And here we go, Brody Goebel. Can he make it in the top 16 here in Pro 2 competition? Nice big angle there from him. Whoa. Goebel, you can hear him lifting, letting it just glide out. Not the tidiest run as far as proximity to the clips, but definitely a powerful run. You talk about Schmidt's run and how just nasty it sounded in a good way. Goebel is right there as well. And a 67 on his first run. Goebel awaits his second. And again, that 73 being the cutoff. And it does not look promising for Goebel. And it's not a 69 on his second run. That's an 18. That's on the outside looking in. Unfortunately for Brody Goebel, he's not going to be seeing head-to-head competition tomorrow. As compared to Pro, we have a top 32. In Pro 2, we have a top 16. Ula Yeager, who already has a 91. He is currently sitting tied in third with Travis Reeder, second overall last year in Pro 2. Ula Yeager looked very strong on his first run. Looks like the car is looking stronger than ever. Again, a 91 on his first run. Temp and track conditions getting a little bit cooler here. What's the outcome going to be? Here we go. Ula Yeager. Ripping down the hill. Big Maji entry just right in between the gator and the track. Ula just barely kissing that front clip into the first outer zone. Really powering through. Very fluid from Yeager. Middle of the line. Let's see if he can tighten it back up, and he does. About a quarter car distance. Exiting the horseshoe into that front touch and go. And past the final front clip. A very fluid run from Ula Yeager. Already with a 91. Does that better. All right, scores are in. Ula Yeager with a 91. Does not better an 88 on his second run. That is a 30. Keeps him at number 3 position. Easy for me to say. Josh Robinson, who had a 66 on his first run. This is do or die for the Aussie. The robot kangaroo. The supercharged Holden Ute. Here we go. Josh Robinson, all the way from the lane down under. He just smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich coming into that first front clip. Robinson transitions up the hill. Nice job in that first outer zone. Now, on his first run, it seemed like he couldn't really dial in those front clips, and now he seems to be nosing in a lot better. You know, he's got that power on deck. I mean, it's a really high horsepower car, but otherwise he is knocked out, and unfortunately for Schmidt, but fortunately for Robinson, an 85 for the Oz Caminos. I'm just going to brand it right there, the Oz Camino from Australia, the Holden Ute. He finds himself in the top 10 position, and that will solidify a top 16 showing for him. Travis Reeder, second overall. That means one more driver left. Here we go, Reeder. Reeder on his second run. He already has a 91 on his first run. Past that front clip. Seeming like a much more confident run. He's got a solid 91 in the books. Let's see if he can bring it all the way out, and he does just that. Dylan Hughes, our #1 qualifier. Both Hughes and Reeder really good friends off the track, but now it's going to be bragging rights at the bar. Who's going to get that #1 spot? The Dozer. Dylan Hughes with a 94. Travis Reeder with that 91 run. Is that enough?
Well, Reeder very confident there.
And look at that, Travis Reeder, your #1 qualifier, a 95. A 95 for Reeder. He now takes the #1 spot. Look at that, a perfect score in style. Angle 28, line lacking 3 points with 27. So Reeder trumps his good friend Dylan Hughes and now takes away that #1 spot from him. And only one driver left to go. So he's getting a lot of track time out here. Kevin Lawrence, K-Law, in Juku Racing. Skyline R32, our final driver of Pro 2. Remember, this is qualifying, narrowed down to 16 drivers. Kevin Lawrence comes in, and he currently sits on a 0, and that will be a no-go for Kevin Lawrence. So the defending champion, also doing double duty in Pro, will not be seeing Pro 2 competition. So I talked about how much driving time he's going to get. Unfortunately, he won't be getting any more in Pro 2, but we will be seeing him in Pro tomorrow.
Jared, that is it for us. We will post all the official scores on all of our channels here as soon as we get done, and then we'll see you guys tomorrow.